Thanks for staying on Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedu. In our first story, Chairman of the Appointments Committee in Parliament, Jose Wusu, has dismissed claims he's been autocratic in his rulings at the ongoing ministerial vetting. Now, speaking at the sidelines of matters arising from the work of the committee so far, Mr. Jose Wusu told Joy News' Elton Brobe he's just doing his job as the chair of the commission.
So we are coming to you live from the office of the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Honourable Joseph Wusu, who is also the chairman of the Appointments Committee of Parliament. The committee has been sitting in the last few days to vet presidential nominees for the various ministerial portfolios. Now, there's been criticism about the conduct of the chairman, especially. Some have said that he is controlling the events according to his wishes. There are also suggestions that is overprotecting the nominees. We want to find exactly what really is the issues, and then going forward, how those who think that they are not being given fair opportunity to ask their questions, how these issues can be addressed. Honourable, you are live on the Joy News channel.
Well, I'm surprised at this alleged criticisms. I haven't heard any myself, but if it were so, it's unfortunate, because I think that people who are making any such allegations have not sought answers from us at the leadership. First, as to the number of persons who are called to ask questions, and indeed who, I decide with the leadership. I consult the ranking member and the chief whip of the minority, and I consult my vice and the chief whip of the majority, and we agree that for this particular nominee, if we allowed 5 persons each, it should be okay. And I go ahead to ask them to nominate for me which 5 persons should I ask or invite to ask the question. So it's really the decisions of, or the choices of the respective sides that I call to ask questions.
So who to call is, there's been a prior arrangement as to who to call to ask which or what question?
That's exactly how I'm going about the thing. So I don't exercise any discretion, even though technically I should be exercising the discretion. But it's exactly to avoid the charge that is being made against me, that I allow the whips to suggest to me who from either side that I should invite to ask the question. So I think that any such criticism is not well placed, because people are not informed about it.
Right, but beyond who to call and to ask which question, the issue here is that you also control how the question is being asked, or how the question is asked, to the extent that sometimes you overrule some of these questions, which according to the questionnaires may be very important. How do you respond to this issue as well?
Well, how important or otherwise, it's only in the head of the person intending to ask the question. But Parliament is regulated by our rules, our standing orders. If you ask questions that are not admissible in view of our standing orders, I will not admit them.
What constitutes admissibility of a question?
Order 67 of the standing orders controls questions and how they should be asked. And if you like, I'll quote some of them for you. Order 67 1A. A question shall not include the names of persons or statements of fact unless they are necessary to make the question intelligible, and in case of statements of fact can be authenticated by the member concerned, or contain charges which the member asking the question is not prepared to substantiate. B, the question shall not contain any arguments, expression of opinion, inferences, imputations, epithets, or controversial, ironical, or offensive expression of hypothetical cases. And the next relevant one is F. A question shall not be asked which makes or implies a charge of a personal character, or which reflects upon character or conduct, except of persons in their official or public capacity. Now, these are the basis upon which I decide which questions will be admitted or not. But in all fairness, I think there are only about 2 or 3 instances where I have overruled. And even that, I allow the persons to go through until I determine that the facts that are being put out are not necessary in determining whether or not a candidate is fit for purpose.
All right.
You know, so I think the charge is really, really unfair. And I can assure you, let me be specific.
Yeah, I wanted us to get into the specifics, especially and to come up with names. Yesterday, for example, the Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suhini, expressed his displeasure at the way he's been treated on the committee. Now, he laid a foundation before coming to ask a question about some, money laundering allegations against the New York Bank, which the energy minister designate used to be the vice president of that committee. Now, you overruled that question. According to him, the question would have afforded Ghanaians the opportunity for the minister designate to explain if he played any role or not, but that issue did not come out at all, as far as your discretion was concerned.
Wait, if you listened, I permitted him to go all the way to the end. And when he asked the question, it showed clearly that he was not alleging that the minister has been named in any misconduct. The minister designate had been named in any misconduct or in any way related to the issues that have worked in the bank, had happened in the bank. I mean, why should, just because he worked in an organization which something happened, and he personally was not involved in it in any way, people who were involved had actually been named and prosecuted, why should that be a basis for asking him a question, not about the bank's conduct, but about his prospective work? I don't see where it relates at all. People may conceive things in their mind, but they must make them relevant. Just because I've worked in Parliament, or let's say, for example, I was a judge. That's an example that comes to me. And then some of my colleagues are being accused and proven to have misconducted themselves and been disciplined. Does that make me culpable? How should that reflect on me? When I was there, if I was culpable, I would also have been indicted. So I don't get the sense in which he's trying to rope in, and really for our purposes.
Now, there were exchanges at the vetting of Minister-designate for Energy, Boakye Agyarko, last night, as MPs scrutinized the nominee's ability to deliver efficient power supply to Ghanaians. The controversy started from a question posed by MP for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suhini, on the Bank of New York scandal, where a Minister-designate for Energy worked some years ago.
The Justice Department in New York filed civil suits against the bank alleging a decade-old foreign currency fraud. Now the question is, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, I have tried earlier, but you go out on social media assaulting that I'm trying to prevent you from asking questions. That's why I'm indulging you. But this is clearly breaching our Rules Order 67. Can you please go on to your question? What has the bank's prosecution of others, not the candidate, not the nominee here, got to do with us?
Thank you. I'll ask the question now. Thank you. I'll ask the question now. Now, can you, based on this record of the bank that you worked with at the time that you worked, can you kindly?
I guess I may also need to address an aspect of the question that you asked. That, yes, you said he's claiming that he worked at a particular location. If indeed he worked there, that seriously is questioning the integrity of the person. And unless you have evidence to prove that he didn't work there, you cannot phrase the question that way. Clearly very offensive. Colleague, and I was not here in the morning. I don't know what the chairman is talking about, but I will plead with you that in formulating and framing your questions, please be very careful and address your mind to our rules of procedure. With respect to you.
I hope you take a cue, and please be advised. Go on.
The Energy Minister designate Boachi Ajakan later responded to questions from the Member of Parliament for Asase, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, on the controversy surrounding the VRA, the residential building of the CEO of the VRA.
Mr. Chairman, I thought I had the letter here.
No, if you can't even, if you can get maybe between this period.
About 2-3 weeks ago, 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
So maybe around 9th.
10th, okay. Around the 10th, I think. 10th, Monday to 10th.
Have you been operating from that office?
Yes, I go there.
You sit in the minister's office?
Sometimes, sometimes I don't.
And you write letters and sign them?
Under the instructions of the president.
Do you think the act of just becoming a rep of the president and then the reps go to the office and begin to behave like the substantive ministers make the process of vetting like a rubber stamp?
Mr. Chairman, if the honourable member could be more specific as to what letter he deems I have signed or signed in error.
I'm not saying you've signed any letter in error. I'm only asking that you were operating from the office like a vetted minister, vetted and approved and sworn in minister when you are a rep.
Mr. Chairman, I have not held myself anywhere as a substantive minister.
Okay, because that's fine. That's fine. Do you remember that before the
Well, it's day 4 of Parliament's Appointments Committee's vetting of ministers designate, and today I'll just run you by the profile of the ministers designate who would appear before the committee. Dr. Jeffrey Akuto, he is the minister designate for Agric, and he was born on the 19th of October 1949. He hails from Koforidua in the Eastern region. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Agriculture from the University of Ghana, Legon. In 1985, he obtained a PhD in Agricultural Economics from the Cambridge University in the UK. Now, he worked as an economist, a senior economist, principal economist, and chief economic advisor over a period of 18 years at the International Coffee Organization, London, England. He also worked as a consultant to the World Bank and the United Nations on soft commodities, that's cocoa, coffee and sugar. From 1995 to 2008, he was the CEO of Goldcrest Commodities Limited and the CEO of Plantation Resources Limited. Dr. Jeffrey Akuto was the deputy ranking member for the Committee on Food and Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs from 2009 to 2012 and became the ranking member for the Committee on Food and Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs from 2013 to 2017. He's currently the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso. Let's move on to Chi Minh Minh, who is the Minister Designate for Health. Now, he was born on the 6th of September 1955. He comes from Domahinkro in the Bunuahafu region. He received a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Statistics from the University of Ghana, Legon, in 1978. Now, he became an Associate Chartered Institute of Management Accountant in 1989. He's an accountant by profession, and between 1990 and 1994, he worked as an accountant at Mim Timber Company Limited and was a financial controller at Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Accra. The Health Minister Designate, Chi Minh Minh, served in various ministries as a deputy minister during President Kufuor's government, and the various ministries are Trade and Industry, Interior, Finance, Communications, and Roads and Transport. He's also served on the boards of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Bank of Ghana, the Divestiture Implementation Committee, and the Small Arms Commission of Ghana. In 2006, he was the acting Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Scheme. He is also the former chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. He is the current MP for Doma Central. And to the final minister-designate to be vetted today, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. He is the minister-designate for education. He was born on the 23rd of May, 1968, and is from Pechi No. 2 in the Ashanti region. He studied human biology and medicine at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and had his master's degree in clinical epidemiology in the Netherlands Institute of Health Sciences. He studied leadership and government at the Kennedy School of Government in Harvard University. He worked as a medical doctor in Ghana and the United Kingdom, and he's a surgeon as well and a member of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons in the United Kingdom. As a member of Parliament, he has served on committees such as the Health, Appointments, Special Budget, and Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. He is the current MP for Minchia South and also a member of the Appointments Committee. You're watching Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedu. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll take you live to the floor of Parliament.